switch the scenes. Okay, so yeah, here we have the game. It's just starting.
So Alessandro playing a really strange deck over here. So we have sort of a counter box going on. We've got 4 Shining Legends Hoopa, 3 Latios, 2 Mewtwo evolutions, 1 Shaman from Shining Legends as well, 1 Sumo Oranguru, and a Giratina as well. So we've sort of got it going on to where this deck really counters against all of the main weaknesses of the format, but relies on your opponent pulling ahead a little bit before it does.
Yeah, so Alessandro's deck, Lydia saw it like round 4 or something. I was like, we have to put Alessandro on stream. And we always check for like a lot of different factors and always something set against it. But now the final round, he's in the win and in. Luca, actually, for him, he only needs any points. So if he ties, he's still in the top 64 points. So this might be able to secure him the top 22 at the end. Currently, he's on the lower side. Like he's definitely underneath 15, I think.
Yeah, I mean, any points here for him should be fine. I'm sure he does want to make day 2, but he can't argue with anything that allows him to solidify his place in top 22. Alessandro, on the other hand, definitely looking to make it into day 2, especially with such a bizarre deck. I'm sure he wants to show it off a little bit more and get things going. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about Luca's deck on his side of the field?
Yeah, he plays a normal Necrozma Malamar. So his tags, like this is really interesting. There are always different tags in the Malamar decks. And he plays Giratina and Hoopa and Marshadow. So yeah, Hoopa, probably the most popular counter against Buzzwole, just being able to do 160. Luca just really quickly checking HP and how much damage the Hoopa actually does now that there is an energy attached to it.
So yeah, Hoopa, a card that was causing a lot of problems when Zoroark was around and one of the main decks in the format, not allowing GX Pokemon to hit into it. We saw the release of some of the new Orangurus with resource management, being able to stop that from happening. However, now Hoopa is in a position where Malamar is actually very hard for it to deal with. They have all of these non-GX attackers that are able to efficiently do damage and obviously keep energy in the deck on board and stuff like that. So Hoopa are actually not causing too many problems for this deck. And from what I can see, there's only really Latios and Mewtwo in Alessandro's deck that are going to be able to hit this one for weakness. It's going to be an interesting match to where, you know, Alessandro can try and benefit as much as he can off of Luca's GXs being stuck in the active with the Hoopa. However, he's going to have to find other ways to get around that as well. We also see in Luca's deck the promo Mewtwo, which I didn't hear you mentioned, but the smaller Mewtwo with the pressure.
True, yeah, he plays Mewtwo GX as well. His list is a bit messy. Yeah, he plays the promo Mewtwo, which makes him deal less damage. Against Buzzwole, it's really cool because both, like, not just the active, but also the defending Pokemon get less damage. So 30-30 goes down to 10-10. So if you started with it, it's just really cool to have active. And it also deals 100 damage, so it's enough to knock out a Buzzwole, which doesn't have a Fighting Fury Belt attached to it. Yeah, and the Mewtwo GX, we already saw that quite a lot. Already.
Yeah, Mewtwo GX put in a lot of work in some of the last rounds that we saw. 4 energy attachments and all sorts going on there. Psystrike doing a lot of damage as well. But the interesting thing here is Alessandro's probably played a lot of decks throughout the day that don't have this many non-GX attackers. However, Luca's got up to 4 in his deck that can jump around this Hoopa a lot, meaning that it just becomes so much less effective for him, and he's going to have to try and find answers as quickly as possible. He's moving in and out, and now he's going to use that Hyperspace Punch to pop 20 damage down on each one of Alessandro's Pokemon.
Yeah, and that's really good because the Darkness Hoopa, the regular Darkness Hoopa, has a resistance and I think 120 HP. So the Hoopa is not able to take a one-hit knockout. But now with the 20 damage on it, it's just enough because of the resistance. So that's a really good play here from Luca, that he went this route. Because, yeah, his only non-GX, like he plays 3 non-GX attacker, which is the Giratina, which deals 110, can take the one-hit knockout, and I think it's also weak to darkness. Then Hoopa can take the one-hit knockout, can't even attack twice in a row. And then Mewtwo also just deals 80 damage. So kind of a weird situation. Also, like Alessandro, in Leipzig, when Hoopa, like the Hoopa stall deck was probably at the best, he also played it. So he is kind of used to, and oh, he plays Paul Pet, so he uses Acerola to get rid of the damage.
He knows how important that damage is.
Luca the damage.
That means Luca's going to have to then again opt to go for the Hyperspace Punch if he wants to keep that Hoopa in check. Obviously, being able to, with a Choice Band, be able to knock out a Dawnwing's Necrozma as well for its attack. It's actually a really interesting scenario we could find ourselves in now. He does only play one Choice Band. It could come off at the right time. But, you know, just if he is able to take a 2-prize swing on that Dawnwing's Necrozma, it could actually be really integral to the final result of the game.
Yeah, this deck is so interesting, but I don't really know how the Malamar matchup is supposed to work. But Luca, he probably doesn't really know too well, and he will have to figure that out along the way, how to actually play against it. But we just see him deal 20 damage again on the Hoopa on the bench. Alessandro playing Kukui, so that is kind of telling that his hand isn't really that strong. And he is preparing his Mewtwo from Evolutions. Because Mewtwo is actually able to knock out both Hoopa and Mewtwo from Luca's side. So everything that Luca can use to knock out the Hoopa on Alessandro's side can be knocked out by Mewtwo, so kind of a cool interaction. And he actually just passed without attaching any energy anywhere. And now it's Luca's turn again.
Yeah, I think he only plays 4 Dark Energy, so we might want to save those for the Hoopas in order to make them most effective as possible. The Mewtwo can operate with a DCE, which he does play 4 of, so he should really be happy just waiting with that. We see another Hyperspace Punch. He's just really smartly taking down this damage. He's not in a rush. Alessandro's Pokemon can't really do much without him falling behind. We see him draw the counter energy here, which falls along with that pattern. Doesn't actually activate for 2 energy until Alessandro is behind on prizes.
Yeah, Luca also might not know if this is a mill deck or not. Like, he doesn't really know what the opponent is playing, and you saw like Acerola, Paul Pad, that might be like, oh, this is a stall deck, so he doesn't even really need to do too much. Yeah, and against stall decks, like the setup he has is perfect. He can always use Invasion to counter like Guzma stalls, and yeah, he has the Hoopa, which can just prepare knockouts, and yeah, one single counter energy attached to Mewtwo.
And that's it, he passes turn once again. Really weird to see from Luca's side of things. He actually hasn't got much going on for him, whether he's opting not to just to make sure, just in case it's a mill deck, that he's not digging too deep for anything.
Yeah, that's what I think. He's just like, yeah, I don't know what my opponent's deck is supposed to do, so I'll just be as careful as possible.
I think it's a smart play from him. Obviously, he knows that nothing really is happening right now. With that, he did just top deck the Fighting Fury Belt there, which could keep the Shaman alive for another few turns if there's no Field Blower in hand. However, we get the funny interaction of, if it gets Field Blowered, then the Shaman does actually get knocked out in between turns. So we see the pass turn there.
Yeah, but Luca really smart here, just not taking any knockouts. He doesn't need to. The moment he knocks out anything, the counter energies will trigger, and counter catcher and that kind of stuff. And he knows the Shaman is kind of stuck active, so it doesn't really matter. But he can just attack on the bench the whole time. This is a really strong play. Let's see what Alessandro is doing again.
He touches the Fighting Fury Belt, and we've got 3 energy now on Mewtwo, and the Sycamore discarding his hand.
He discarded a Layla, and this is the only GX Pokemon he has, so now it's 100% non-GX price race.
Yeah, which could be quite tough for Luca to do. Obviously, he's going to be using his GXs. He's got to be careful that he doesn't actually bench any of them in hope to get a knockout, as Alessandro will most probably have the answer in order to take 2 prizes. He's got another Mewtwo in his prizes as well, so he'll be hoping that he can actually take a knockout, and then of course come back in with another Mewtwo off those prizes and take 2 more.
Alright, so now Luca's turn. It's just For Alessandro, it's just passing all the time. Luca just... he's not in a hurry to do anything. Just Hyperspace Fury, Hyperspace Punch actually. Just a little bit on the bench, preparing knockouts. It's quite a strong strategy.
I think it's completely correct. Obviously, there's not too much going on for us to actually talk about right now. We haven't seen Alessandro's deck start to move in the direction for us to be able to talk about it. But Luca really playing this smart, knowing that there is a counter energy on board. Perhaps Alessandro might have been better off not attaching the counter energy yet, and maybe Luca would have been a little bit more aggressive taking those knockouts. But now that he sees it, he knows that this deck relies on being behind on prizes, so maybe he's being a little bit more careful now. But we see the Hoopa come down with a DCE on it, making a second target. One of them with a dart, one of them with a DCE, both needing just one attachment to be able to start kicking off once the Shaman goes down. So it'll be interesting to see here if Luca now does opt to get rid of the Shaman so we can actually start dealing with these Hoopas in a big way.
We are 10 minutes down and nothing happened.
Very, very fun.
So if you want to know, this is basically how it felt before the Stuttgart Juniors final.
Yeah,
so
nice.
This is my revenge.
Oh boy. Yeah, but for Alessandro, since Luca gives him so much time, he can set up a lot of Hoopas, in theory.
In theory?
Yeah.
It's still only got one energy on it, so...
Yeah, the Shaman is still active. Let's see, does he play Floatstones? Yeah, 2 of them, but he didn't draw them yet. And, like, he actually wants to force Luca somehow to take knockouts, because otherwise his deck doesn't really work. Yeah, but it doesn't look like he is able to.
I'm just wondering what the... Yeah, so the Mewtwo does come down and he attaches a Psychic. It's unfortunate here that there are no Psychic in the discard, otherwise he could have come in with that Mewtwo and just started to do damage. But he still opts to go for the super safe and rather unentertaining play of 2 Hyperspace Punch straight onto the bench.
Okay, so I will open another fortune cookie. Yeah, just for the game to see what we're going to get here. So pleasure is often found where you don't look for it.
Well, that's definitely... Luca's definitely going to find pleasure playing against a Hoopa deck.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, he wanted to ID, but yeah, he has to get the pleasure out of this game now. Alright. And the Oranguru on the bench from Alessandro is also only 20 damage short of getting knocked out. And now Luca's still... Like, next turn he can just put damage counters wherever he wants on the other Hoopa. With Fighting Fury Belt you have 160 HP. Oh, actually, does he play... Yeah, Luca plays 3 Field Blowers as well, so the Fighting Fury Belt's probably not that strong.
I think here it's a bad idea for Luca to take 2 knockouts at once, because that means that he's going to be ahead for a lot longer as well. Meaning that Alessandro's counter energies activate for slightly longer.
I'm wondering if he even wants to take any knockouts at all, at any time. He plays no... Like, it would be really cool if he also played the Ultra Necrozma and could just GX, like, at some point he's just like, knockout on everything. I mean, of course, the Hoopas wouldn't get damage.
Yeah, and he finally gets an attachment to where he can move this out of the active.
Sweet. Finally. So,
we see the
Psychic
Mewtwo
for
move in.
80.
Oh, and he parallels himself, getting rid of the damage, meaning that this really exciting game gets to last even longer.
Yeah. Yeah, allowing us to watch this furthermore. 15 minutes are already gone.
Yep.
There is no damage on board, but also no one drew prize cards yet. But now we see a counter for a Psychic for 80 damage because of the weakness.
And yeah, just the 80. Hoopa needs to start doing some stuff. Luca's hand is humongous. He's definitely got an answer here somewhere if he doesn't want this Hoopa to go down. But it looks like he's checking his discard. Will he just opt to Hyperspace Punch once again?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows, eh?
Yeah, we see an Ultra Ball. You can just grab another Malamar in theory. Yeah, Psychic for 80. Luca discarding his Mars Shadow doesn't really help him here.
No, of course, in this matchup, it's a pretty useless card, right?
Yeah, it's a GX. It's a GX, so you don't really want to attack with GX Pokemon against a Hoopa army.
And you see another Inkay hit the board. Still no way, or Luca just isn't choosing to set up the Dawn Wings or anything like that, or the Mewtwo on the bench as well. But he chooses to Cynthia, shuffling his deck in, and his hand into his deck, and maybe, just maybe, we might see a knockout this turn.
Yeah, in theory he can Portal Strike if he gets energy in the discard pile. But he could also, if he has an energy and an energy in the discard pile, just attack with the Mewtwo on the bench, with his own Mewtwo, knocking out Alessandro's Mewtwo.
I think using the Mewtwo...
Did you play during 2012?
No.
Oh, there was a thing called Mewtwo War, where you always took out Mewtwo's with your own Mewtwo's, and that I just had to think about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is not Expo, these are actually two different Mewtwo's, but it's the same thing. Because now this Mewtwo is taking out the other Mewtwo, and in theory, if Alessandro is able to get his Mewtwo, he can also use Psychic for the knockout. I just had to think about it.
Yeah, and the Mewtwo comes down now. Maybe we might start seeing some more exhilarating attacks here. Almost 20 minutes gone of this game already, and only one prize taken.
I really want to ask Alessandro how many games he won just 1-0.
I mean, he's got 3 draws, so...
Yeah, he hadn't lost yet, undefeated. If he draws now, he might... Does he actually make... No, he doesn't make it for top 32 if they draw. Otherwise they would have drawn, but... Pressure. As long as this is your active Pokemon, your opponent's active Pokemon attacks do 20 less damage. And Super Psybolt.
Super Psybolt. It's actually a really cool art. I really like that.
Yeah, it looks like action. He's just like, bam. And Hoopa as well. Like, this artwork is amazing. I like it so much. It's just like really, really cool. Also, I like this Hoopa form. I don't know exactly how it's called, but
Scoundrel form,
yeah,
isn't it?
Scoundrel.
Yeah.
It looks so cool. And with the Scoundrel guard, it's preventing opponent's GX from dealing damage to it. And now we're in the situation we talked about 10 minutes ago, where yeah, the non-GX Pokemon Luca has can't really do too much in this matchup because of the resistance and the high HP from Hoopa. But the Psychic Hoopa can deal 110 damage, and then a Field Blower is just a knockout. And Luca plays 3 Field Blowers, so should have enough to keep up the trade.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether the Psychic attackers actually can do enough. Obviously, other decks with non-GX attackers would be able to just start doing damage right off the bat, but the fact that he uses Psychic attackers makes this more difficult for him due to the resistance that they have. Retreating back out, pulling up another Hoopa, and of course we'll see Psybolt.
Oh, and this was a really good play because now he gets value out of the Mewtwo. It only deals 80 damage. And there was one Hoopa with 40 and one with 20 damage, and this way he can take out that one. Does he play Rescue Stretcher? Yeah, 1. So Luca plays 1 Rescue Stretcher, so he can recover the Hoopa, Psychic Hoopa, and Mewtwo actually if he used both of them. But yeah, perfect is if he uses Mewtwo first and that gets knocked out, then he can take another knockout with Hoopa, and shuffle both of them back and do everything again.
Yeah, I think we're in a position to where this game, Alessandro is probably going to want to squeak this out just as a one-game match. It's a case of these Hoopas don't do well over a number of different games. They just want to draw it out as long as possible, try and pull out a win as slowly as possible in order for him to just win 1-0. We do see the Super Psybolt about to take a knockout on the Hoopa. Ready.
Wait, they both have the same attack.
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow, the most exciting part of the game. Yeah, so obviously we see a knockout there. Alessandro actually takes a prize, surprisingly. And we're in a position now to where if the Mewtwo does go down and Luca can't find his rescue stretcher, Alessandro could start to do a lot of damage. Obviously, Super Cybolt with a Fighting Fury belt does knock out a Malamar. I mean, you can take easy prizes on those if he does have any more Fighting Fury belts left in his deck.
Yeah, he should play 4, I suppose.
He should. I think he does play 4.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does play 4. So he should have 2 more in deck, meaning that he is actually able to start taking knockouts on these Malamars as slowly as possible, I imagine, so he is able to win this game just the 1-0. Of course, as well, you can look from Luca's side. He does have the Giratina, which could play out to be an interesting card in this. I know it has a high energy cost, but it does discard cards from your opponent's hand as well.
Yeah, but I think it has resistance, so it has weakness against darkness, so it's probably not the attacker.
It's about to come down anyway because he's listening to me. I told you, there it is.
He's considering.
There it is. There it is. I thought, see, it's
boy.
coming down, and he can discard random cards from Alessandro's hand because he knows that Oranguru is gone now, and he can't draw anymore. So perhaps if he does discard some important stuff, this game might become even more stagnant than it already is, meaning that we might just see a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, but the thing with Giratina is probably here in this situation just because he has to take the Twit knockout, but he knows Mewtwo will get knocked out next turn, and he needs to have any hitter to respond, and this is why he uses Giratina. And Alessandro is also probably kind of annoyed because usually these Malamar decks play 2 non-GX attackers, but Luca actually plays 3 of them.
Oh, and he hits the Acerola,
boy.
bumping it up, putting that Hoopa straight back down, and yeah, he's able to knock out that Mewtwo and heal completely. You can actually get quite excited about this because Alessandro is actually able to take a knockout and prevent one on the next turn, meaning that he actually looks really strong. Apart from that though, nothing else too exciting. But the Acerola really big there.
Yeah,
a really big turn
good,
there for Alessandro.
And now the Rescue Stretcher. Oh, Mewtwo GX. The GX attack can take 1 Hoopa out as well.
Exactly, yeah, it goes through all... No, I think it's through effects of attacks, not abilities.
I think... can you put the Mewtwo GX? I'm pretty sure it should...
It would go through the ability? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And Side Strike actually can, so he's going to do a full 200 damage here to the Hoopa.
And the Rescue Stretcher as well. This is a really big turn.
Yeah, really big turn, getting those 2 psychic attackers back. Luca is also probably hoping for a knockout on this Hoopa, and hoping that Alessandro actually struggles to get down another bench Pokemon altogether, hoping he can end this game before he actually takes all of his prizes. His hand isn't looking too great. He does have a Latios in there, but that's a very easy Pokemon for these Psychic types to take out. So Luca's going to really be hoping that there isn't another Hoopa that hits the board anytime soon, meaning that he can just easily swing through the last couple of prizes, or alternatively win the game before all of them are taken.
Yeah, but currently, like now, the Mewtwo has to attack, the bench is full, it's kind of a weird situation. I don't think Alessandro has anything to take like a big one-hit knockout at the end.
No, he definitely doesn't. I think the biggest thing is the Shaman from Shining Legends. It does 30 damage. If one of your Pokemon was knocked out the last turn, it does 90 more. Obviously, that's 120. Choice Band 150. So, of course, that can sometimes do enough if the Hoopa has already chipped a little bit of damage, or the Latios has put some damage on the bench already. But, of course, the Shaman already in the discard pile. So, Side Strike does go through this.
Side Strike GX. Kind of a weird thing. Like, you put your resources and then just you use a GX attack, just knock out a Hoopa.
Side Strike. I don't know if Alessandro agrees with the fact that it goes through that. I think the judge is currently sorting it out there. Yeah, and it does go through, and the Hoopa moves into the active. He does have the Latios. I think it's very important that he plays it down now, because otherwise we could actually see the end of this game a lot quicker than Alessandro might want. He hits the Rescue Stretcher as well, able to get those Hoopas back out of the discard onto the bench.
And now, because the bench is full, Luca can't really deal a lot of damage. So the best thing he could do is attach 4 energies to his Giratina. So if he does have an energy, yeah, this is probably the best thing to do for him. Like the random discard is probably nothing you would really rely on. It's not the reason
Oh,
you
and
take
Alessandro goes to grab the Evolutions Mewtwo back into his deck with a DCE and a Choice Band that does actually knock out the Mewtwo GX.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. That's strong. Yeah. Yeah, it deals 100. No, it deals... Yeah, it
His
does.
weakness, though. Yeah.
No, I know the weakness. I was just like... Isn't that
I
like
promise
crazy?
you.
No,
I promise you it
yeah.
does. I promise you.
So it's 4 energy, so 80, that's 110, 220. Okay.
With the choice band.
Just,
With the
yeah,
choice
with
band.
the
With
if
the
you have
choice
choice
band.
yeah.
Or would it do it? No, it wouldn't do it with the Fighting Fury belt.
Wait, does he even play?
He plays one choice band.
Okay, so he has to draw
one
the
copy.
choice band.
The choice
yeah, it's
band.
10 damage short without the, if you just have a Fighting Fury belt.
And the DCE comes down. These max rarity energies are very, very nice as well, I must say.
Alessandro likes to play full rarity. I think he plays... Yeah, the supporter cards, he doesn't play full art supporter cards because he had some problems with them being banned last few times. But I like the rarity of the double color energy card looks so cool. There's a secret rare counter energy as well, right?
Yeah, he's got it in hand. There's one right there.
Sweet. I thought it's a double colorless. Yeah, it looks really cool, yeah.
And not much he can do here. Side Strike been used, so that Mewtwo GX not great on the next turn.
Well, there is no energy in Luca's hand, actually. That's kind of weird. He has elixirs, so if he hits them, he can still attack with Giratina.
We're more than halfway through this game.
Oh, nice. So it's either a tie or...
The elixir misses. I've just noticed that Luca's deck has been upside down this whole game as well, and he's just been going along with it. No problems, so...
The problem is if you attack with Giratina now, it will most certainly get knocked off next turn.
And we see the retreat. And we see the Dawnwings move in, allowing for that free retreat. No energy in hand. There's not enough in the discard to set up the Giratina, I don't think. He's actually going to go in with the Malamar, only doing 40 damage a turn though. Just when he thought this game couldn't take any longer, doing 40 damage a turn will definitely make it longer.
He would also need to play Guzma on the bench Hoopa as well to get the out of the active spot, but if he doesn't retreat... Oh yeah, he does play Guzma and just goes for... Yeah, so kind of unfortunate for him that the elixir didn't hit. So 40 damage, let's go boys.
Oh, 40. How many Acerola does he play? Only 2, they've both been used, so at least...
he did use both, but he used one paw pad, so there should be an Acerola left.
So that is fantastic news for us to be hearing. I think we're in a position now where the counter energy is active, the Hoopa, another 40 damage goes down. He's got the Fighting Fury belt just to make that Hoopa last a little bit longer. Another 40 damage probably every turn till that Hoopa's knocked out, allowing the other one to move into the active spot and actually start taking some knockouts. But Alessandro not sure on what he's doing, and he passes
he's actually
turn.
passing. So next turn he can take a knockout. Like once his active Hoopa gets knocked out, he can attach Fighting Fury belt and take a knockout on the Malamar.
And he takes a knockout. Hopefully, we will see just a few of Malamar's attacks, and that is all. The Mewtwo comes out of the deck with the DCE though. This Hoopa able to retreat, so perhaps the Mewtwo moves in and takes a knockout on the Malamar. That's probably the best thing that he can do to move the game state forward. Another thing to bear in mind is with Luca taking another prize that turn, even if Alessandro does take a prize, he's still behind on prizes, allowing that counter energy to still be active. So that is an important thing to remember. The Mewtwo and the Latios looking like he's debating between which ones to pick. The Mewtwo does not. hit the field, and he just attaches the Fighting Fury Belt.
Yeah, he was probably considering, like, is there any way my opponent can knock out the Hoopa, because he doesn't really want to bench it. But if the Hoopa gets knocked out here, he loses. But I'm really certain there is no way the Hoopa can get knocked out. The X-Attack is already used, and there is nothing else that can one-hit knock out the Hoopa, actually.
Yeah, and the Hoopa actually is able to one-shot the Dawnwings now as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier, that because it's 180 HP with Fighting Fury Belt, Hoopa can actually take a one-hit knockout on it.
Luca does have a Field Blower in his hand, though, meaning that probably won't suffice. I think I saw the Choice Band at the back of his hand, though, meaning he can still take a knockout on Dawnwings if he does want to. The Psychic Energy is going down on Giratina. He's hoping to be able to take that last few swings in order to take that out. I think Alessandro might actually be able to do this.
What?
Puts up the Hoopa and Hyperspace punches.
But he has resistance, right?
So it does nothing.
I think.
Is it 20 damage or 2 damage counters? It's 20 damage,
Yeah,
it does nothing.
okay.
Yeah, so it passes turn. That Hoopa in the active, perhaps maybe a good idea now to put down another bench Pokemon just to make sure. Nope. And Cynthia gets played. And we see an exciting shuffle into the deck.
So the deck is really thin on Alessandro's side, but he has a really nice chance of winning, actually, because he can one-hit knock out Giratina because of the weakness. So if he gets anything going, I can definitely see him winning.
I actually.
Oh, he got another Hoopa
and a DCE, so I think that definitely means that he can win over the next couple of turns. Luca does need to knock out 2 Pokemon if he benches that Hoopa. I don't see why you wouldn't. I don't see any scenario why you wouldn't bench the Hoopa and the DCE.
I mean, I would be kind of afraid of Giratina's ability, like the effect of Giratina's attack would be kind of scary, to be honest with you. Because
holding the Hoopa or?
Yeah, holding the Hoopa or DCE might get.
Yeah, see, like he could easily discard the Hoopa now, meaning that could actually cause him a lot of problems. We never thought we'd see a Giratina actually doing damage and disrupting an opponent in any game, but it looks like it could now if he does hit the right card in hand. Luca, considering his options, he plays
and Giratina. This is the game. This is the play.
This is the play. Alessandro able to draw 3 cards here, though. He's going to be hoping for that bench Pokemon. I think it was a huge misplay not playing it down. I don't really understand. Even if he was able to Guzma it out, I really didn't think it was a big deal. It still takes 3 turns to knock out that Hoopa with anything on his side of the board. So he hits the Latios, a Fighting Fury Belt. Dawnwings moves in, and the Giratina moves up. And we do 90 damage and discarding a card from Alessandro's hand.
Let's see which it will be.
And it is Fighting Fury Belt.
Fighting Fury Belt. Okay, so now we have the top deck, and this needs to be a good card.
Luca actually is now out of it. It's a Hoopa. That's good.
But
please bench it this time.
This doesn't help him too much because he can take the knockout here, right? But Luca can take the knockout on the Hoopa with his Hoopa. And then... Yes.
But he did just hit Guzma, so that means nothing.
Exactly. You're totally right.
Does he play Elixir? No.
No. Okay, now Luca can take the knockout on the Hoopa now. Alessandro, he needs to attach an energy active.
Oh, no, wait, Alessandro can bench the Latios in his hand.
But that will get knocked out by everything, right? How much HP does Latios have?
120, 110.
Yeah, so the the Mewtwo on the bench did 60.
Okay, yeah.
So that will just take the knockout.
What else does he have at his disposal? We have a Shaman and an Oranguru. They're both in the discard.
Pleasure is often found where you don't look for it. I still don't understand.
Oh,
I was not looking for it here, and I didn't find it.
I didn't find it at all. I think Luca has one.
It looks like he. So he was in.
Yeah,
it's a scoop.
Alessandro
okay.
scoops. He can't win that. Are they going into the next game, or are they calling it there? Alessandro knows for a fact that he won't be able to win a game in 15 minutes. But
Potentially.
Potentially.
Yeah. He might still win.
But even a draw puts him in the position he didn't want to be in the start by IDing. 14 minutes left. By the time they start shuffling, I imagine there'll be about 12 minutes left. He's got to be able to knock out 6 prizes worth with a Hoopa and Shaman. I can't see it happening at all.
Yeah, it's really unlikely, I would say. I can see it happening, but Luca would need to draw really bad. Or have like...
I think if I'm Alessandro...
Two of the attackers prized.
I think Alessandro here starts, waits to see if Luca hits Bridget. If he Bridgets for enough non-GX attackers, I'd just skip, personally.
No, I think Alessandro will try to win. Or at least try to make it a tie, I would say.
He's going to start Lele as well, which is... Oh no, he's got the Hooper on the end there as well. And...
It's getting dark in here.
It's getting dark and light again, like every 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, Lydia, can you tell them the prize cards? Oh, they realized, yeah. And Lydia,
they realized.
Okay. What were you talking about?
I don't know. Can't have been important.
Let's get another cookie.
Get another. I'll
how many
crack
do we
this
have
one open.
left?
I'll crack this one open. Let's have a look.
Cracking one open with the boys.
Cracking one open with the boys. Let's have a look. Our fortune. Right, I keep getting really nasty ones. I don't know why. Like,
what does it say?
Above all, do not betray yourself. I'll try not to. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
What did the one about talking say?
If you talk too much, you're not wise. Just straight. It's like, thanks. It's like I'm only sat here talking all day from 9 PM till 9 PM, but thanks.
Yeah,
appreciate
sometimes they're
it.
like weirdly specific.
So, we see another mulligan. And you know what? Remember when I said he wouldn't be able to win with 12 minutes? Now he's mulliganed 3 times. I think the chances are even less likely. So, I think we're going to see a win for Luca here, personally. But we'll see. Just going to get my pillow. Super unprofessional right now, but there's not really much we can do.
Yeah, we are just trying to make the best out of the situation. Type an ! Tort in chat to get updated on Tort's score if you didn't know it yet. Alright, so let's jump right into the game.
Yes, exciting stuff.
Oh, there are 3 Darkest Energy prized.
Oh, this is... Surely, please look and scoop. Please look and see it and not want to play anymore. No, he didn't even check the full deck. He has no idea there are 3 Dark Energy prized. Yet. Oh, he will find out.
Yeah.
He will definitely find out.
But Hoopa's prize for Luca.
Oh, okay, that's pretty important.
And Alessandro is trying to hurry up to win.
He's got 2 more Hooper in hand and a DCE. Plays the nest ball, gets a Mewtwo. Didn't check again. Still no idea there's 3 Dark Energy prize.
I mean, he can't really check because he needs to play fast. Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. And the Lele. And he'll go in now, hopefully grab Bridget, and then just wrap up the game from there.
Potentially.
No. Hopefully.
Ah, I see. Yeah, but let's see what is there.
Trying to see what he's going for.
Bridget, I think.
Bridget for 2 Inkay and
Mewtwo.
I think Mewtwo's the correct thing to grab.
Yeah, because Giratina just gets one-hit knockout. So. Yeah, if Alessandro didn't have the Dark Energy or prize, this might actually look like a really cool game.
Really?
Because Alessandro might win. You just Super Cyborg all the time. And if you attach, you only get 2 knockouts, so you can always charge the next Hoopa by just attaching 2 energy from your hand. But Alessandro cannot do this.
I think with it as well, though, he does still have the Ace of Rollers that he can use to sort of keep the Hoopas looping and looping and looping over and over again. So, potentially see that as well. What did he flip for then?
Hypnosis.
Oh, Hypnosis.
Well, this is confused. Yeah. Cynthia.
He shuffles in, going nice and fast. Only 8 minutes left of this game. Will Alessandro be able to find an answer within the next few minutes?
Let's find out.
Oh. Let's please. And he hits another DCE. Not really something that he wants. He wants either a Dark Energy or a Counter Energy. He does have the Dark in hand though, but obviously he's asleep right now, so it's not really a big deal. He's going to make sure that second Hooper is set up and ready to go. And he flips, and he's still asleep.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, Hooper boy.
Yeah, he's dreaming about the darkness energy.
He's dreaming. He can sense the dark energy under his head on his prize card pillow. Yeah. He's like, lots of energy in here.
Yes.
Malamar comes down, and there is energy in the discard for him to be able to Super Cybolt. It's just a question now of whether he does opt to go for that while the Hooper's still asleep.
We will see.
Apparently.
No. Hooper's still fast asleep, is it called?
Fast asleep, of course. Fast asleep in the English tongue. Fast asleep.
Fast asleep. Why is it fast asleep?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I'll be honest with you.
Okay. So British here.
So British. So British.
Chap.
Chap. I don't think I've ever used the word chap in my life.
Really? I heard a lot of English people using it, but you're not English. Yeah, I was just going to say it. That's probably the reason you don't use it. Why are you not English though?
I'm Welsh. You know what I would use right now? The mat to flip my cards up and scoop.
Yeah.
And they go down to the Mewtwo, and we'll see the retreat, and the Mewtwo comes in and it Super Cybolts.
If Alessandro flips tails,
I'm gonna bet that he flips tails. I'm gonna bet on the tails. Bet's in. Oh, it's heads.
But he still needs an energy.
He has it in hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. But what he could also do is if he has a double colors energy card, he can just use his Mewtwo to knock out Luca's Mewtwo.
Yeah, he could do that as well. I don't see a DC in his hand, but he probably is able to get one. He's attaching the floatstone here. No, he's not. Yes, he is. And we see another Hooper in hand, as well as the Oranguru. And the Dark Energy attaches to the bench Hoopa.
Yeah, that's good.
Switching out and yeah, keeping that damage. What you'll be hoping for now as well is hitting the Acerola to be able to pick the one off the bench as well. Stalling the prize race out even longer. Only 5 minutes left though. Not much more time to be able to stall out the prize race. Alessandro needs to start doing something now.
Yeah, Super Cyborg dealing 80 damage, but because of pressure, it's only 60. And then Luca can use his Super Cyborg also to deal 80 because of resistance.
I think the pressure ability is actually very underrated here, even more so in the Buzzwole matchup where you can lower those jet punches down to 10 damage each. Obviously, it's a case of pressure being really, really bad for Buzzwole, and of course also being pretty bad for the Hoopa here, not allowing it to do a full amount of damage off of the Super Cybolt, but also still putting out the damage output with its own Super Cybolt back into the Hoopa and causing things to be awkward.
Yeah, but only dealing 60 damage is still enough in this situation because Mewtwo only has 120 HP, which means it's a 2-hit knockout nonetheless, which means in this situation currently pressure ability doesn't really change a lot.
Yeah, and we see the Pal Pad for the Acerola and the Sycamore. That Acerola allows him to continuously chain those and can make it continue happening throughout the game. However, as we've mentioned before, there is not enough time left for Alessandro to continue stalling. He needs to start taking prizes, and at a quick rate as well. We see the Fighting Fury Belt in hand. Does mean that he would be able, I think, to take the knockout with the Fighting Fury Belt on the Hoopa. Right, 70 plus 60, no. Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, he is able to with the Fighting Fury Belt.
Even without, right? It's just, he deals 60, he has 60 damage, and he has
it's 120, I thought it was 130 like the other Mewtwo.
Oh, fair enough, yeah. Yeah, Mewtwo is usually a 130 HP Pokemon kind of guy.
Good kind of guy, yeah. Fair enough, yeah. Malamar's going to start coming in now and doing that 40 damage a turn.
Yeah, but Malamar is the 9 HP kind of guy, like a level ball dude.
Yeah, a level ball dude, yeah, of course. Hoopa's a 120 HP kind of guy.
I would say Hoopa is the 130 HP kind of guy, actually. To be quite frank.
How has the stream come to this? Jesus.
It's like we started good, then we went up, and now it's just like grunt, bottom grunt.
Bottom ground.
Bottom.
It's not even it's been a long day. I'd be happy to commentate a match where things were actually happening, but nothing is happening.
I'm just so tired of. No idea.
Nothing is happening. Okay, cool. He uses the Kukui, meaning that Super Cybolt does do enough damage to knock out a Malamar. We're going to see that. And he scoops.
Alright.
Nothing else in hand for him to be able to get. Luca scratches his head. I think he's happy that